Good afternoon, you're watching your lunchtime news here on TV1 with me, Deshan Gonola. We've got the very latest from here at home and around the world lined up for you today, but first, let's take a look at the headlines.
Chief of Defence Staff Admiral Ravindra Vijayagunaratne arrives to surrender to court. Signal Corps of the Sri Lanka Army celebrates 75th anniversary. Police officer attacked in Waligama. Donald Trump to cancel meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin.
Now in your lead story this afternoon, the Chief of Defence Staff, Admiral Ravindra Vijayagunaratne appeared before the 4th Magistrates Court this morning to surrender himself to court. Chief of Defence Staff Vijayagunaratne is in court over an incident where he is said to have aided former Lieutenant Commander Chandana Prasad Hettiarachchi of the Sri Lanka Navy involved in the abduction and forced disappearance of 11 youth to evade court. Stay with News First for updates on this story. Now moving on, the 75th anniversary of the Signal Corps of the Sri Lanka Army was commemorated today. The ceremony was held under the auspices of President Maithripala Sirisena.
An exhibition was held at the BMICH complex to mark the anniversary.
Ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency, President of the Republic of Sri Lanka, His Excellency.
Dignitaries including Defence Secretary Hemasiri Fernando were also present. Representatives of India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, China, Great Britain and Russia were also present at the event. A forum was held on cybersecurity and overcoming challenges in the domain of moving forward.
Now the State Minister of Transport C.B. Ratnayaka made the following statement at an event in Colombo yesterday.
When talking about today's issue, everyone asks what will happen in the future. When heavy rains come in, people say, oh, the Devana will not sink, will it? When lightning strikes, people say, oh, why can this not strike the parliament and hammer all 225 seated inside? But 198 of this 225 were elected by the people of this country. That is why it is the legislature. Then the president, who is the executive, is elected by the people of the country. Just like that, you appoint 178 representatives as well. I say 198 because of 225 the rest are chosen on the national list. We can't avoid this topic. But people ask how there are people who lost elections in the national list. But I can say as a cabinet minister and someone who was in government, we are ready to fix the economy of this country. The 5th executive president of our country has taken up the responsibilities of finance minister and prime minister to work to fix this economy. We can have different political ideologies and we may wear different colors, but first, for us, is this nation.
ඒක අපේ හදවත් තුළ තියෙන එකක්. හැබැයි පළමුවෙන් අපේ රට.
Now in your local news this afternoon, a special health clinic by the Gammada Savya program is currently being held in Jayasirigama in Pannala.
Gammada Savya, Ratanagana Jan program.
News First revealed that Jayasirigama in Pannala is home to a particularly large number of ill individuals. When we visited the village, we learned that there were a total of 310 cancer patients in this village alone. News First even brought this particular issue to light on the 1st of October. The Gammada Savya Office, Pannala Health Office and the Kurunegala District Health Director's Office joined hands to organize this event. A clinic was put in place to identify breast cancer, kidney issues and other forms of cancer. While all these services will be offered free of charge, action will also be taken to direct patients towards hospital treatment.
Now the Sri Lanka Press Association commemorated its 63rd anniversary in Colombo. The event was held under the auspices of Professors Shilpak N. Ambule, the Deputy High Commissioner of India. A number of invitees, including Sri Lankan and Indian journalists, graced the event that was held at the Sri Lanka Foundation Institute. MP Karu Parunavithana and former General Secretary of the United National Party, Tissa Attanayaka, also graced the occasion. Today there are two types of MPs, members of parliament and members of the parliament canteen. We ask that these canteen parliamentarians come back into the hall and show the majority, or to hand over the reins and leave without destroying democracy.
සභාගර්භයේ මන්ත්‍රීවරුන් බවට පත් වෙලා තමන්ට බහුතරය තියෙනවා නම් ආණ්ඩුව ගන්න නැත්නම් පාර්ලිමේන්තු ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදයට ඉඩ දෙන්න මේ රට විනාශ කරන්න එපායි කියලා.
මීට 60 වසරකට පමණ පෙර
It is with great happiness that I, as the chairman of the association, say that this organization, which was begun by the Venerable Udakendawala Sri Saranankara Thero, has grown strongly in its 63-year history.
වර්තමාන සභාපතිවරු වශයෙන් කියන්නේ තා සතුටුයි.
Senior journalists who have contributed to the industry were also lauded at the event. The commemoration, which occurs annually, also sees sponsorships handed to the senior journalists. More than a commemoration, today marks a day where we recognize and honor 10 journalists who often live meager lives to change the direction of this country. This anniversary celebration is not just a media circus or an event, it is an example we hand down to our next generation. Let's now take a look at some of the crime stories from the past 24 hours.
A police officer in Veligama Mathara had been attacked by a group last night. The police officer had been attacked when he was returning to the Midigama police post after his duties. A group had approached the officer in a three-wheeler and attacked him after threatening him. Police officials state that the officer concerned has been attacked as a result of this police officer arresting individuals involved in drug trafficking. Two suspects have already been arrested. The injured officer has been admitted to the Veligama District Hospital. Reports of a son murdering his father emerged from Castlereagh in Hatton. Police stated that the son attacked the father early this morning. The son is aged 43 and the victim, his father, was aged 73. The remains of the deceased currently lies at the Dikoya Base Hospital for the post-mortem examination. Further investigations regarding the incident are to be carried out by the Norton Bridge Police.
Now in more tragic news, one individual was killed in a fire that broke out in Vanduramba in Gaul. Our correspondent in the area noted that the deceased was a resident of a small house in Lelvala in Vavulgala. The victim was 90 years old. The cause of the fire is still unknown. The Vanduramba police have begun investigations into the incident. Now residents of Thamuttegama in Anuradhapura claim that their lives are under threat daily due to the threat of wild elephants.
Our reporters state that 7 such villages are facing the threat of wild elephants. The villages of Dalmegama, Kalavallava, Talakolavawa and Telpiriyava have been facing these issues for up to 2 hours. These villagers who rely on cultivation for a living say that the wild elephants cause damage to their very livelihoods. This is how the cultivations of banana, coconut and manioc are destroyed. The locals further allege that the wildlife officials of Galayaya Wildlife Office do not take the necessary steps to control the problem.
Let's now turn our attention to the story on the Badurelia post office in Mathara, which has remained closed for a period of 5 years. Residents point out that the post office, which is on state land, is also home to an official residence. They further state that this is the only such service available to residents of Hadilla, Bolunna, Batagoda and Dikena. The post office activities are currently being carried out at a private building, and locals have stated that it creates great inconvenience. Now in some slightly more upbeat news, Sri Lanka recorded a comprehensive 179-run win over Nepal in the inaugural DEF 2020 Cricket World Cup in New Delhi in India. Now the Sri Lankan hearing impaired team, batting first, posted 227 runs for the loss of 3 wickets in their allotted 20 overs. Shimadu Lakru, the Lankan skipper, top scored 85 runs with 10 sixers and 3 boundaries, while opener Shanaka Valgama chipped in with 55 runs. Chasing 228 runs to win, the Nepal team were dismissed for 45 runs in just 15.4 overs. Well, that's a wrap of your lunchtime news for this afternoon. Stay tuned to Live at 55 for more of the very latest, and you can also check out our website www.newsfirst.lk. For the Newsfirst team, I've been Deshan Gonavala. Good day.